What's up, YouTube? I am the Vanilla Nerd, and today I'm going to do something a little different from reviewing a movie. I actually want to talk about some movie news. Now, I don't intend on my channel becoming a movie news reacts channel or anything like that, just because I'm not going to be up to date on the news all the time, and I'm not going to be prepared most of the time. But I do like looking at movie news, and this particular bit of news caught my attention and I just couldn't stop thinking about it, so I decided to make a video about it. So, the news in question is that it has recently been announced that there will be a Harry Potter remake TV show made on HBO MAX, and that is very interesting. Now, I am late to the party. The news dropped at the beginning of April, and so it's been well over a month since we found out about this, but I have a lot of thoughts and I want to talk about that here on this channel. So my first thought is, why do they even do a remake? Why not expand the world of Harry Potter more? Because outside of the 7 books, The Cursed Child, and Fantastic Beasts, and whatever information you can find on Wizarding World, which is quite extensive, I will not lie, it's very extensive there isn't a whole lot of information about the Harry Potter world, and there's so many cool stories that could still be told without having to do a remake, you know? So a cool idea would be a story about the founders of Hogwarts: Godric Gryffindor, Rowena Ravenclaw, Helga Hufflepuff, Salazar Slytherin. What is it like, their relationships with each other? How did they form the School of Hogwarts? How did that all work? That would be really, really cool to see. Or you could tell a Quidditch story focusing on a Quidditch team and their struggles to become the best Quidditch team, or something like that. And you could have some really fun action scenes with Quidditch. That'd be awesome. Or you could talk about the Marauders and James Potter and Sirius Black and Lupin and all those characters, and what their life was like at school and how they became animaguses and all that fun stuff. It could be really cool. And that would certainly be my preference, would be an expansion on the world of Harry Potter. However, when it comes right down to it, it's a problem of money, and remakes make money. New material is always a risk. Remakes are guaranteed. Because if we look at like Disney, however derided their live action remakes are, those movies make money. They bring in billions at the box office. But if you look at the new stuff that Harry Potter tried to do, like Fantastic Beasts, unfortunately, that franchise has struggled after its very first movie. Personally, I think the first movie was absolutely fantastic, pun intended. I really liked it. I thought the characters were great. I thought they did a good job keeping the story focused. But then I think the second and third movies had their big problems, and I'll do reviews of those other days. But regardless, the long and the short of it is, remakes are a guarantee, new material, not so much. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, but it is what it is, and that's why we're getting Harry Potter remakes. So here we are. So while I understand why they're doing a remake, it doesn't mean I agree with them doing a remake. And in many cases, I'm not looking forward to the remake. And I think there's a number of problems that this remake will have to overcome in order to do well. First and foremost is the nostalgia. Because plain and simple, doesn't matter if this remake is objectively better in virtually every way than the original, people will still prefer the original. And that is going to be a hard thing to overcome. Now, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, they didn't make it like they used to, and, spout on about how old is always better and the original is, just made of better stuff back then or whatever. No, I think new stuff has potential. I think new stories, new things can be really good, but a remake isn't new, and that's where there's a slight problem. Now, will the remake be new in the sense that new people are creating it? Yes, and it will tell and fill in some of the gaps that the movies left out. Absolutely, but it's still going to be hard to overcome that original because the movies were good. They were really, really good. Like, slight tangent, but it's always bothered me that Harry Potter fans hate their own movies. They always talk about how the books are better than the movies, and the movies left out this or left out that, and they get mad at, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And they just get mad at everything. And some of them, and in fact I'd say a lot of them, actually do understand that the movies are good, but there's still plenty that are like, well, the movies aren't as good as the books, and they're just like these purists, these gatekeepers. I don't know. It's frustrating to me because so many other book to movie adaptations have failed and done so poorly, and yet Harry Potter stands pretty much alone outside of like Lord of the Rings as being a book to movie franchise that has done phenomenally well. So well that Harry Potter is still relevant today because, in large part, the movies are so good. And one of the things the movies did so well was create a distinctive look and feel for the Harry Potter universe. We know what Gryffindor gold and red look like. We know what Slytherin silver and green are. We know what the Elder Wand looks like. We know what Time Turners look like. We know what the Hogwarts castle looks like. Those are things that are uniquely developed by and for the movies. Yes, I'm sure the author J.K. Rowling had input and stuff like that. But still, that's all stuff that has become iconic in the 12 years since the last movie was released, and probably, in all honesty, since the very first movie was released, in terms of like the castle and Harry Potter's wand and such. So one of the biggest hurdles that the remake is going to have to overcome is making new props and new stuff, because either you're going to reuse it and pull on our nostalgia, which why even do a remake at that point, or you're going to change it up, and then it's going to be really hard for you to overcome the competition of the love that we all have built up for the original props and stuff. So that's a really big problem. The next big problem that I think the remake is going to overcome, outside of nostalgia and then the fact that the movies were just so good, is the casting. Because there were some really good performances in the Harry Potter trilogy. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter was fantastic. The late Alan Rickman is amazing as Snape. I love him as Snape. Right? Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort was so menacing, so creepy. He did such a good job. And I absolutely believe that new actors can add new stuff and add their own spin on characters and can do all this good stuff. That is true. But it's still, I don't envy them. That's going to be a really tall order to do better than some of these iconic performances. I mean, there's a reason that the always line delivered by Alan Rickman as Snape is so loved and so touching, because he's just that good of an actor. And now it's like a sticker. So yeah, it's going to be hard to cast this project. Before I end this video, I do want to talk about what the remake has going for it. And I think its greatest strength is the fact that it will be a TV show with an entire season devoted to each book. By having more time, by having a different medium than the original film franchise, there will just be so many more different and better ways to tell this story, to convey this story, than the film franchise ever had. And there will just be so many more options available to the showrunners and to the creators of this remake. So I think making it a TV show, really smart move. You'll be able to dive in a lot deeper, probably talk about all the characters that we missed, like Peeves, Ludo Bagman, and others, and talk about a lot of the scenes and actually show a lot of the scenes that we missed, like the cool adventures in the maze or the Quidditch World Cup or Quidditch in general. There's a lot of Quidditch that is missing from the movies, and it'll be exciting to see more Quidditch, if nothing else. Furthermore, I think a really big advantage that this remake will have over the film franchise is that it knows the entire story from the beginning to the end. The films, as many people know, were created while the books were still being written. They didn't know that Dumbledore had the Elder Wand when they actually made a prop for Dumbledore's wand. They didn't know that Ginny was getting together with Harry when they cast Ginny Weasley, and other things like that. So in advance, they will be able to plan things out a lot better, and that will make this remake, in some ways, better. Now, I still have my reservations. I still don't know if they're going to be able to capture lightning in a bottle and do a really good, solid remake, but There are some things going for it. There is some reasons to do a remake, and obviously there will be money involved in this. A lot of people will be excited to see Harry Potter again in a new light. But I don't know. I have my reservations about it, and I really wish they did choose to expand the Harry Potter universe rather than just remake it. And so that's my thoughts. If you like this kind of video, if you want me to do more reviews of some movie news, I would be happy to do that from time to time. It's never going to take over my channel, but it is something that I enjoy. So, yeah.